This might be genius or disaster. Either way, I'm doing it. Welcome back, guys. Today we're doing something I've never tried before. And honestly, I'm not sure if it's brilliant or ridiculous. For better or worse, I ended up pulling out half the flooring here in the greenhouse so I can plant dahlia tubers in here. If you followed me for a while, you know I'm a very lazy gardener. I store my tubers haphazardly, I forget about them, and somehow they still reward me with massive blooms. So this year I'm going to lean into that energy and I'm trying something new. Let me go ahead and show you the space. All right, it's not quite half, but here's about 2.5 feet by 5 feet, give or take, area I took out here. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like this soil was underneath the pavers. It was not. It was pretty crappy compacted clay. Yeah, I didn't do much to the compacted clay, unfortunately, but I laid some leaf mulch down, some chicken fertilizer. I had some leftover potting mix. That's why you see some perlite down here. And then I threw some compost here on top for some decent organic matter. But you can see underneath there's some of that potting mix, some of that leaf mulch still. I want to give you guys a little bit of a closer look at this. So this is the space we're working with here. As you can tell, it really isn't that much, but I think we're going to be able to pack in the dahlias. I mean, one of the great things about dahlias is they're not picky at all. That's another reason why I think this is going to work out pretty good. Probably one of the least picky flowers. Dahlias really want loose, well-draining soil, preferably. They don't really like wet feet. A little organic matter, not a ton, and room for their tubers to stretch out. Now the leaving room is probably the least important part. And you know, I'm going to do this in another video, but I'm going to pack in a ton of tubers in my dahlia patch outside here. And even this, I mean, doing eight tubers in this area here is, I think, a little generous. I would want to pack in at least 10 or 12. Anyway, now that we're at this part, I think we're going to go ahead and go down and start putting these in the ground. Ooh, I almost forgot. Before I go ahead and put these tubers in, I'm going to use my own soil amendment, my own fertilizer that I make. It mostly consists of bone meal and blood meal, but if you don't know what it is, I would go ahead and pause this and head over to my Instagram. I have a whole video on the specific recipe that I use for fertilizer. Highly recommend you check it out. All right, here is the fertilizer mix I'm going to go ahead and use. As you can tell, this is far more than just bone meal and blood meal, but definitely go check that out. I'm just going to very generously sprinkle this all over this, just all over this bed. People say that dahlias don't tend to be big feeders, but I would consider them big feeders, especially the cafe au lait and some of the dinner plate varieties. Before I put them in the ground, I'm going to go ahead and work all this into the soil just to make sure it's well incorporated. All right, here's a closer look at the tubers we're going to use today. So here's classic big box store. I cut a lot. You can see in my TikTok video, I cut a lot of this stuff off. There were a lot of broken necks. Now, all of these tubers, again, from a big box store, but I think a better, more reputable farm. Last but not least, the healthiest looking ones, in my opinion, the healthiest looking ones are ones that I, quote unquote, stored from last season. All right, the plan is to lay these out horizontally with the eye, or one of the eyes facing up. And I think I'm going to shoot for 4 to 6 inch spacing, but that could be way off given how much room I have. I think I'm going to lay these out first just so I get a better idea of spacing. Oh, I think I'm definitely going to be able to put more in here than I thought. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to get 2 more. 1, 2. I keep ignoring this one, thinking I have more space. You know, I can put 2 more. I'm going to put 2 more tubers in. That was not the plan, but So here we go. All right. And of course, the best part about picking tubers from the mystery bin is, by definition, they're a mystery. Shoot. Not going to take the risk. See, and I don't have my sterilized cutting tool. Otherwise, I would split some of these, but I'm a little worried about it. Aha! All right. This isn't so bad. This looks healthy. I'm going to cut some of these little bits off here. And as always, do as I say, not as I do. This is not sterilized. Do not do what I'm doing. In the next video, I'll talk about how I sterilize these tools, when I sterilize them. I mostly sterilize them when I'm splitting a bunch of dahlias. I'm going to put this one sort of in the middle here. Okay. It looks like all my single ladies. Okay. Nope. Nope. God, why did I put all these back? I don't understand. Why did I do this? None of these have eyes or even a crown. This is just a neck. What was I doing? Ooh, there we go. Most unlikely subject. Look at that. So sometimes the undesirables are the dahlias with a skinny neck like this, especially if it's like a chonky tuber and a tiny neck. But we're gonna go ahead and give her a chance and prove them wrong. One eye sticking up, horizontal. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and dig out spots for them and cover them up. So now we wait. And will this work? Honestly, I don't know. But I'm pretty dang sure it's gonna work. Dahlias are like weeds. If you give them enough of the right stuff, you give them enough light, they'll practically grow anywhere. I know people who grow them out of their compost bin. I'm going to resist the urge to water. Watering them at this stage will most likely lead to tuber rot. So I'm going to wait 1 to 2 weeks for there to be green shoots up out of the soil. Then I'll go ahead and water them. If you want to follow this experiment through the season here with me, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me, and happy gardening.